aerospace and defense manufacturing,
machines and automation,
additive manufacturing,
smart manufacturing,
global manufacturing economy.
Welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals, powered by SME. From the design screen to the shop floor to final assembly, we drive the conversation about making manufacturing smarter by connecting people who are passionate about manufacturing. Visit us at sme.org.
Today's episode is sponsored by our guest.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals. I'm your host, Amy Bryson, contributing lead editor of Smart Manufacturing Magazine. Today we'll be talking about how smart manufacturing and Industry 4.0 are changing legacy manufacturing processes. And joining us is Michael Pace, VP of Sales for Smart Sites, a company that provides data-driven analytics, reports, and notifications designed to empower industrial operations with clear insights for more effective decision-making. And that, I know, is of interest to all of our listeners. And Michael brings more than 25 years of experience leading teams across the globe in delivering technology solutions. So he has a lot of great information to share about what companies are doing and what companies should be doing to leverage advanced technology to achieve smart manufacturing success. And I want to thank you for joining us, Michael, and welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Amy. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Well, before we dive into our topic, can you give our audience a bit of background about you and what you and your team at Smart Sites are focused on?
Absolutely. Well, I personally joined the company a little over a year ago and super excited to be here. There's just a ton of great things going on here at Smart Sites. But as a company, you may remember or know the name Win 911. That is a company that it grew up in the alarm notification space. And then also, you may also know Cytec, which has a solution called Excel Reporter, who's also been around in the industrial space for 25 plus years. So you're taking two companies and we've combined them into what is now Smart Sites. So we rebranded the company back in August underneath this same umbrella of Smart Sites. And so what we do is we say we're going to get the right information to the right person in the right way to better manage their operations. And then as a result of that, our customers are safer, they have greater uptime, have better understanding of their plant operations health, and are certainly more efficient. Now, you asked, what are we working on? Our team is consistently trying to find ways to make other solutions that are more impactful to our partners and to our customers. One area that we see as a real opportunity is to bring more and more information literally to the fingertips of our 1,500 plus mobile users, Smart Sites mobile users, to help operators and technicians make faster and more accurate decisions as they work through their day-to-day. We're going to be adding a lot of organic functionality into that Smart Sites mobile solution, and it helps get people out into the plant, out into the operations and away from the desk. And we're going to be looking at different reporting around out-of-the-box compliance and those types of things, but also we're going to be looking for acquisitions that really fit with what we're trying to accomplish in terms of providing broader and deeper solutions to the partners and customers. So that's a little bit of what's going on with us.
You mentioned your customer base. I mean, who are those customers? What industries do you serve? What size companies do you focus on? Can you give a little context around that?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. And the answers may surprise you and certainly hopefully the listeners. And that is, our customers are all sizes across all industries. And now we absolutely grew up in the water and wastewater arena, but over the last 25 plus years, we've demonstrated that our solutions can be leveraged across food and beverage, life sciences, oil and gas, you name it. We have customers and plants in all those industries across all size companies. We can also, as we look at each of these types of operations, and this is something that's super exciting that I certainly think is, and that is, no matter your size, we can help you in terms of the uptime and the improving of your operations, regardless of what industry and size company you are.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about how smart manufacturing, I mean, obviously, we talk a lot about Industry 4.0 and how that changes legacy manufacturing processes. Can you talk us, how you're seeing that across your customer base and across your company base size? And do you have any examples of how, smart manufacturing is impacting, more legacy or traditional manufacturing processes?
Sure, absolutely, Amy. Smart manufacturing, Industry 4.0 are certainly making tremendous impacts. Two things that stand out and that clearly align with what SmartSites is looking to help with, and that is data-driven decision-making and predictive maintenance. Those two things in of themselves are rather broad, but as I mentioned a little bit earlier when we talked about SmartSites mobile app and how we want to put more information in the hands of the right person at the right time and the right way so that it can respond quicker and more accurately, one great example would be when an operator receives an alarm for an asset, and that may be operating out of a defined parameter. It could be pressure, it could be a motor, it could be a pump, it could be something around pressure, vibration, etc. But just operating outside of a defined parameter, as opposed to just sending a simple alarm notice, we want to arm that person that's receiving this notice with more details and with as much information as possible, maybe around alarm frequency, past resolution, reasons for failure, and on and on. And having this data, the technicians themselves will make better and faster decisions. Also, by looking at trend analysis, an operator can predict and avoid failure, for example, of a piece of equipment or an asset, thus improving what many of them are trying to accomplish, and that is increase their uptime to better achieve production targets.
That's a great example. And, you mentioned the mobile aspect of it, which is so important, especially as it relates to small and medium-sized manufacturers. And as you well know, most manufacturers are, the vast majority, more than 75%, are small and mid-sized, with many of those having less than 20 employees. So what are some of the key challenges you're seeing in that space, and how is SmartSites addressing those challenges?
Wow, that's pretty broad, right?
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, a few that we see, and certainly not limited to this, but certainly ones that we see pretty regular are limited budgets, technology adoption, regulatory compliance is really a big one, lack of skilled workforce, and there's certainly others, as I mentioned. But once again, as we look to align specifically our SmartSite solutions to better serve the marketplace, regardless of the vertical, and once again of the size, it's important that we look to address those types of challenges in some way. A great thing about our solutions is that they require very modest investment up front while delivering tremendous value with rapid deployment and quick adoption, which is super important for the small to medium companies, is to get that quick return and a fast adoption. So when a company's assessing their investment, because they have many options where they can spend their money, there are not many solutions that can provide easy technology adoption, such as a SmartSites mobile, drive compliance without out of the box type reporting, also improving the efficiencies to maximize employee resources. And this is important. Companies need to provide and want to provide employees with a better work experience, thus trying to retain those employees, those super valuable resources. And by providing them technology and improving that work environment, that really helps. And I think companies overlook that.
Yeah, and I think a trend that we're seeing is more and more companies are working to help their customers achieve kind of this enterprise-grade class technology with the budget of a small or mid-sized manufacturer. And so kind of helping to reduce the complexity, kind of democratize technology, which it sounds like is right in the sweet spot of what you and the SmartSites team are trying to address.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. And speaking of, small manufacturers, I'm sure you have a lot of conversations with small manufacturers as well as their larger counterparts. And do you have insights that you can share with the small manufacturers, like lessons learned from the big folks? Are their challenges the same? Are they holistically different, or are there learnings that they can glean from the experiences that you and your team have?
Yeah, there certainly are. And unfortunately, there are these false barriers where small to medium companies don't think that they can actually take on some of these projects. And I'll say that technology solutions today that don't easily scale aren't going to be around very long. So in other words, you start with a small company as it grows into a medium and a large company, or You start with maybe a large company just at a single plant, and then you move to multiple plants in a division or a region or global. You have to be able to scale. And our focus at SmartSites is to solve the problems for our operators, regardless of the size of the company. And as I just mentioned, that many small to medium businesses view technology implementations that large manufacturers are doing are just not in their ballpark from a budget perspective to go and implement and go down those paths. I strongly encourage that the small to medium businesses take a look at what the larger companies are doing and don't be afraid to jump into these projects, because there's companies like SmartSites, and we're not the only ones, but something like us, that are built in a way that it can actually scale and it can help produce similar results for small companies as they can for medium companies as you can for large companies. Just don't be afraid to take the chance and investigate.
Yeah, I think it's I'm wondering if you have a lot of conversation around cost benefit analysis, or, when can I see a return on investment? And, do you help companies figure out the problems that they're trying to solve, or do they pretty much have a handle on the things that they'd like to improve?
Most know where the problem areas are, but one of our obligations is to show them and be industry leaders and thought leaders about areas of improvement that they may not have considered, either through our experience or through technology that we've developed. And so we try to, through a very detailed discussions and discovery, understand their operations so that when we provide any type of investment proposal, that they clearly understand what that investment looks like and how quickly that return is. And we look at returns in less than 6 months for sure, whereas some projects are, with other types of solutions or implementation, may take longer.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about, if we had to boil down, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that a manufacturer, someone listening to this show right now, should start doing this year to help their operations run smoother and to save costs? If they could start doing 3 things, what would those be?
Yeah, and the first one comes because of something that was very surprising to me. I have a history of working with cybersecurity company, and so coming in, and I also have backgrounds in working in manufacturing, and so when I joined SmartSites, it was surprising to me how in the manufacturing world so many systems are outdated. And so my first point would be update any legacy or outdated systems to mitigate that cyber threat. Older systems are certainly more vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks and finding, bad actors finding ways to get into your systems. And if you have an older system that's not up to date with the latest patches, et cetera, regardless of what system it is very risky. And then it's also typically older systems are not reliable or as reliable. And so it can lead to, in the manufacturing world, costly downtime. Another area is look for ways, and I've talked about SmartSites Mobile a good bit here, but look at ways to remotely monitor operations, which will certainly help reduce costs and increase the quality of life and overall employee satisfaction. Because we all know that manning an operation 24/7 is very costly, and by leveraging automation, mobile solutions, and monitoring technology to be able to monitor things remotely, as I mentioned, certainly can save and reduce costs and expense. And then lastly, which we've also discussed here throughout, and that is look for scalable solutions that can grow with you, not only as you grow in size, but as your technology needs advance, because that's absolutely going to happen. So pick your partners wisely that are making investments in technology so that you will be, as the end user of the companies, will be able to keep your operations at an optimum performance.
Those are 3 very actionable tips for our listeners. So, Michael, we've covered quite a bit of ground today. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss that we haven't covered?
No, I just really appreciate the opportunity. We're super excited about what we have going on here at SmartSites and how we can help impact things as we look at Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing. And we want to help our customers, and we have a lot of them, just continue to grow and evolve and have success in their own business.
Wonderful. And if people want to learn more about the work that you and your team at SmartSites are doing, where should they go?
Yep, just go to smartsites.com, or you can email me at michael.pace@smartsites.com, and we'll make sure we take care of you.
Well, listeners, take him up on that offer to connect. He has a lot of great information to share. And thanks again, Michael, for your time and for sharing those valuable insights with us. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Make sure you stay up to date about what's happening in manufacturing and hear more podcasts by visiting us at sme.org.